I don't know what happened. Sorry, y'all. Let me get my guest back real quick. Hold on. Okay. No, my I think I just have a bad connection. Because as you can see, for the people who usually watch me, I'm not in my usual spot, and
Okay.
I don't think the connectivity here is good. I was like, because I was going on and on till the break of dawn, and then
You was spitting and
and IG was like, "All right, that's enough.
yeah, that's like yeah. I thought it
Wrap it
just cut
up."
off after an hour because it cut off exactly at 9, so I thought it was just an hour thing. So
No,
maybe
no, no. Cause yeah, like I was telling you last night, it usually is like, um, my objective is to keep it around an hour, right? But, but depending on, how the conversation's going, sometimes it goes an extra 15, 20,
longer.
30 hour. So it ends up being like 2 hours. I mean, I try to keep it succinct, but I do be
Okay.
talking just like I told you yesterday. So
Yeah.
I appreciate y'all coming back. I
Yeah, they
think I,
jumped back in here,
I
didn't
think I just had a connection issue.
they? Yeah. So
Um,
yeah.
unfortunately, I missed some of the other comments that were on there.
Okay.
I do appreciate y'all coming back though, but and no, my phone is charged up. So, I don't know if there's anything more that you would like to say on the topic of abstinence before I wrap this on up. You helped me get, speaking of practice, right? You helped me get back into,
The flow.
into my mode. So it probably gonna take me a couple. It's probably gonna take me a couple weeks, but
Yeah, you did great.
oh,
You did great.
thank you.
But I don't know. I think we touched on everything. I don't know if it was any men in the comment section who had some cons that they may experience or may be in fear of. I would have liked to address those. Like I said, I look at those cons as just being challenges. Not something that's going to stop you from pursuing this journey if this is something that you want to do, but something that you may find a solution to if there is like some type of challenge that may come with it. And there are. It's difficult. It's not easy. Like I said, you're not going to be looked at as being the man to your peers, but you got to have some type of, you got to have a stronger will inside of you and stronger sense of self to not look for gratification from your friends and peers. You know what I'm saying? So that's just something as a man you got to have. So if you're just looking to your boys to then it's some deeper rooted stuff that you got to probably address. But yeah, listen, I think we touched on a lot of it. I saw some comments pop
I
up
was gonna say, so
from guys.
Wes is the person that I was talking about. So Wes is my
Yeah,
resident comic relief. It, anyone who follows me to might see my stories. His birthday was
yeah,
the other day, so I shared because he's been on a few episodes with me, and he's always he's always got something funny to say, and so maybe you might have seen Wes' greatest hits, but
yeah.
he was the person.
I've seen. Listen, I've seen a few brothers voice their opinion. Some of them gave me some props. I saw some brothers give me some props, but some of them was like, and that was not on the same. We are not in alignment. I will say that.
So,
Stop saying that, obviously.
you are the least serious.
That's funny. That is hilarious.
But no, he's cool and very insightful, but his insights are usually peppered with comedy, with comic
Mm,
relief, right? So, but he is always talking about post nut clarity, and I'm
yeah.
like, once again, you wouldn't
It would.
have
Yeah. Yeah.
that
Yeah. You can avoid that. You can avoid that. Right. Yeah.
if like I listen, I know people go and do what they do, and I'm not making a judgment about if whatever you choose to do, because because I've lived a life, right? I'm saying in
Right.
my maturity, I
Right.
have a different perspective on on relations than I had um when I was younger. And it's not because I don't still desire to have them because I'm old and, you know, and dried up. It's because like I'm more thoughtful in my approach to some things. And anybody that knows me in real life knows, like, I like to have fun. I like to have a good time. Like I consider myself pretty spontaneous and impulsive, and yeah, so it's counterintuitive to me to be very like, you strategic and very like and plan out that's like counterintuitive. I love being in the moment. I love that. I love the feeling of it. I love just kind of going with the flow. Well, I take that back. It depends on the circumstance, right?
Okay.
Um my point is that maturity, the bit of maturity that I possess, um in with the help of therapy, has helped me be more like intentional, and to
Very much
say,
so.
you know what, let me take a step back before I just impulsively do stuff. I'm not saying I don't do anything on impulse anymore, but there's
Okay.
certain things that I'm like, yeah, nah, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not going to put myself in that situation because I know
Yeah.
what it's going to lead to. Nah, I'm
Hmm.
good. um
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's
I
what I
think I
need.
think sometimes we can look at it as being like a diet that we follow. You know, when people are either fasting or you're working on a diet, there are some options that you have that you have to abstain from if you want to achieve your ultimate goal. You know, you can't say that I want to lose weight and build muscle and eating cupcakes every day, right? So there is, you have to override physical urges, right? And
It,
when you control the body, you control the mind. And when the mind is in command, right, you move with precision and not impulse. And then that's when we're operating at our higher self. So that's
oh
that's
wait,
what I can. That's what it is. I mean, that's exactly what it is. It's controlling the body, and you control the mind from there. So it's
I couldn't have summed it up better. But yeah, I mean, literally, like, discipline is something that a lot of people lack, including me.
yeah,
Like, again, we talk all the time about goals we have and things that we desire, and um, but we don't have plans to put them into place.
exactly.
Um, we don't move with intention. Um,
Yeah.
I'm so talking about myself.
Well, they're distractions. Distractions sometimes look good, right? It look like
Yeah,
opportunities, and we got
yeah,
to
but
be able to identify that they're actually just distractions. They're distracting us from what our goals are.
right.
And when you can identify that, it's easier for you to point out, okay, this isn't gonna lead me to what I planned or what I've embarked on, the journey that I embarked on. It's not gonna get me to that destination. It may be feeling good in this moment. That cupcake may taste good right now. You know, those cookies may taste good right now. But if I'm trying to show off my body in August, I gotta have more discipline when it comes to what enters, my body. So listen, it's a level of discipline that we need to obtain that's gonna help us through all areas of our lives. So
I
abstinence
concur.
helped me.
And
So
and as I said, sex is amazing. It's beautiful. It's all of those things, wonderful. But
yeah,
it can
yeah,
also lead to problems if if you do it too indiscriminately.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but
And
again,
I'll say this
I'm
too.
not
I
here to
also
judge. I'm not here to judge. What I'm not
Right.
judging because, like I said,
You
I've
can't.
lived a life.
Yeah, yeah. But it also helped me in in loyalty as well. Like I've never cheated on any woman I've been with. Never have cheated on any woman I've ever been with. I think that was from the discipline I learned through those years of abstinence. It's like if I'm not chasing after the right now, then I can focus on what my goals are with this woman that I'm sitting across from. Versus it being like I said, you walking down the street, there's a bakery, and you want to have goals of showing your body, of body goals in the summer. You learn not to engage and indulge in those impulses. And so I was never even close to cheating. It wasn't even even an issue. I never entertained it. I think I learned that from those years
Good.
of abstinence.
Wait,
So, hey,
not
there's another one,
what?
fellas. There's another benefit, guys. I've been
Not
throwing them at y'all. I know
not
y'all don't care, but
not Wes talking
no, I'm
about.
not a virgin. West is, you know what?
I told you he's crazy.
West,
Don't
like what's
see what Wes says. Okay, so Wes says a horny man is a dangerous man. Now, I will say that just really quickly, and then I'm gonna wrap up. That I think it's important to have an outlet for for uh your
energy, the
arousal and your
urges? Yeah,
desires.
yeah. Your
Okay, but
desires, yeah.
abstinence does not mean that you can't indulge in self-pleasure. At least that's not the way I read the
Right. I don't read
definition.
that
You
way.
got to get
Right.
in touch with yourself, right? So you can relieve whatever pent up,
Right.
feelings that you have so that you don't have to unleash it on somebody, or you can go to
Right.
the gym, or you can do a lot of different
The
things.
gym is absolutely right.
Um Although, I guess if the more muscle you have, the more testosterone. So then that's probably going to increase your libido, blah, 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 blah. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that self
But
pleasure
then you need to shift in
is,
your mind at that point. You know what I mean? Like that's all I'm saying. You got to have mind over the body. The body can't control your mind. This goes back to the overriding physical urges. I don't care how much testosterone and muscles.
yeah. So Tira, says a disciplined man is a powerful man and is, rock
Appreciate that.
star, uh, DJ MB says, he's a danger to himself, right? Because of course Wes had said a horny man is a dangerous man. He said I sound
I
like
can't
I'm
take. I'm not
judging.
taking West
I'm
seriously.
not judging
I'm not taking West
anybody
seriously.
at all. Like, I mean, my mama's on here, so
Okay.
I'm gonna leave it at that. So
Okay.
I don't got to get too detailed. No, he's not a virgin.
No, I'm not a virgin.
He was
Right. I
married.
know it's only West asking those questions.
Um, Sex is overrated. It's cool at times, but not all the time. No, I listen. My perspective is that it's like if you're only ruled, right, because I feel like a lot of things that men do in
Mm-hmm.
life is in the pursuit of, if they're into women, it's in the pursuit of the pay, right?
Yeah.
The
It's a
cars they
sport.
drive,
It's a sport.
their profession and
Mm-hmm.
whatever, but it's because there's something's missing, right?
Yeah.
um
Mm-hmm.
Enjoying sex is one of life's great pleasures, but like your life shouldn't revolve around, I'm gonna get some coochie, like. He said I
Right.
got here late,
Right.
my bad. All
Right.
I'm
Right.
saying,
No, I hear you. No, there's a lot of chaos that's involved in that when your mind is just focused on
yeah,
how
like
much time you have allocated to doing that, how it gets you distracted off of your course. It's yeah.
that makes
It's
sense when
not
you're
good.
in your 20s,
Yeah.
when it's new, like you're just kind of experiencing it, and like you're like a kid in a candy store. But I mean,
Mm-hmm.
come on, we're big grown.
Right.
Like that's
Right.
that's ruling your life?
Right.
Absolutely not.
Right. There
Anyway,
should be some level of maturity, right? You have a different mindset at some point.
yeah, well, that's I yes, we kind of talked about that. You're gonna have to catch up later because I'm about to wrap this up. Anyway, unless you want to join really quickly and give us a little comic relief before I wrap this
Oh,
on up.
Wes is gonna send us out. Okay.
No, no, no. I know he's out of the country, so I don't even know if he can really connect like that. But uh, uh
Ladies, we're having a conversation about them. So
yeah, I see a rock star
they're having a totally different.
says if your partner has a high sex drive and you don't, that can cause big problems in the bedroom. Right. But so I think that's going off on a little bit of a tangent because again, the abstinence piece is obviously for somebody who's not in a relationship. I don't If you're with your partner trying to abstain,
Yeah,
then I think you
and
got
that's
an
different.
issue. Ain't nobody
Yeah.
going for that.
Hmm.
I'm talking about when you're not necessarily, in a committed situation,
Right.
um, where you have the choice to say, you know what, I want to date, I want to get to know you. Look, I swear this is my last point. Um, I was watching Love is Blind. I didn't watch it, when a lot of people are talking about it online. But I watched it recently. And the whole premise of that show, of course, is that people are in this like situation where they're like getting to know, I don't know how many people, 10, 20, something like that. 10, 20 men, 10, 20 women. They go on these kind of dates in pods so they can't
Pause, right.
actually see each other, right? They're talking through a wall to see if there's any compatibility on strictly on a personality, intellectual, mental capacity or plane.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the people you connect with and some of them don't. And then, if they decide they want to pursue something more long term, some of them getting engaged through the wall, then they finally get to meet in person. And I mean, it definitely, I think it gives people were like more vulnerable, right?
Right.
Um, People were sort of exposing more of their true selves, but then, then you might find you get together and it's like, well, I mean, yes, I fell in love with you, but I mean,
I'm not attracted to you.
but
Right.
like, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. Because that is a component, right? It's an
it
important component.
matters.
It matters exactly.
It matters.
Um,
But
Funny point about that. I'm gonna let you finish. They reached out to me to
oh
be on
yeah,
the show, by the way.
you didn't want to do
I
it?
said no, no, I wasn't doing that.
Oh
Nah,
man.
nah. I ain't giving it up like that. Y'all ain't gonna have me on in the pod crying,
Wait, let me see.
being
He's
transparent.
hold on, hold on. Do you think you could fall in love with somebody sight unseen just out of curiosity?
Could I fall in love with someone without seeing them?
Like
This
talking to
West,
them like that.
Yo,
I'm finna say, what's up,
Wait,
brother?
so
You had a lot
so
of questions, brother,
yo,
about me.
I joined
Right.
late, so I didn't know what was going on. So I had to catch up. I
Okay,
didn't know what was
all right.
going on.
so this is Wes for those of you who don't already know him. But again, I haven't done my lives in a while. But Wes is a staple.
What's good, brother? I didn't
West.
mean no disrespect. I'm just asking questions. I didn't know. I didn't know.
Nah, I feel you, brother. I'm just joking with
Because
you. I'm
Becky
just
be
joking
having
with you.
different
It's
kind of
all
guests
love.
on here. I know she had a virgin. I know she be having different type of people on her shit.
That would be
No,
a whole nother topic.
the the
A
point of
virgin
me
and fit and
having
work.
look, the point of me having like the way I sort of intro this topic, Wes, is that
You funny, cuz I see you.
some obviously some people are abstinent by like unintentionally,
That's me.
and it's
Word, fact.
okay. So it's because um
Because the streets is cold
um
out here, son. The
yeah,
streets is streets is tough
it
out
could
here
be
right
for a
now for a brother.
variety it could be for a variety of reasons, but it's not something that you're actively choosing, or that, and I'm sure you have plenty of options too, but for whatever your reasons are, maybe it's not popping right now, right?
Right.
But some people are actually choosing, people with options, people that are attractive, and is not because they can't get none, is because they are actively choosing to say, you know what, right now I'm
Yeah,
good.
that's crazy.
That's crazy, West.
Crazy.
You couldn't do it,
That's
huh?
crazy. That's crazy. You
West can't say no, huh?
Nah, I can say no. Don't get. I'm not. I'm more about quality instead of quantity. I'm with that, but I'm saying just to do it on purpose is like kind of crazy
Why?
What's crazy about it, West?
because you only live once, man. You life is
Only live
tomorrow's not
once.
promised, b.
I think there's a lot
Tomorrow's
of things
not
you could.
promised.
It's
So you live by that motto?
it isn't, but just real quick, I know I keep saying real quick, but I mean it though. um why, like, I'm not judging, right? Because again, I think
It
people
sound like you judging, son.
no, listen. People should do whatever works for them, right? I'm not advocating for abstinence or saying y'all should, y'all need to stop having sex and go be abstinent. If you're single, you do you, right?
Right.
Um, like you said, you only live once. Is your life to live? Is your choice to make? All I'm saying is I wanted to talk to Van to get a different perspective, because people like all you hear about is like you know, everybody doing it with everybody, and you know, polyamory and threesomes and just, you
Well, yeah,
know, again, I'm not,
that's the madness. That's crazy shit. I'm just talking about you
no,
just living a
but
normal life
right,
and
but
just turning out.
everything is everything is like hyper sexual now. And again,
Right.
I'm not suggesting that there's anything wrong with sex. I'm saying that like damn, like could
But
you,
no me to cut you off. But you know what's funny though? The math doesn't show that, right? Because studies show that we are living in a more highly sexual stimulated world, but people are having way less sex. So we are more sexually
why
stimulated now, but we're not
What's
having
up,
as much
Rich?
sex as we used to back in the day.
why do
We're having
you
way less
think,
sex now.
why
I
do you
think
think?
social media, society on a whole,
Hmm.
I think that plays a big part in it. You know what I'm saying? Because especially now, social media, everybody's looking for something, the next best thing. So a lot of people now holding out, just keep thinking something better is gonna come along. Or I'm not gonna fuck with this person because something better is gonna come along. I'm not gonna fuck with this person because something better is gonna come along. So a lot of people really just waiting for the next best thing. Less and less relationships are happening. Less and less interactions are happening because you're always thinking something. Because social media got us thinking something better is coming along. So the studies
Yeah,
show that
I do.
on here we're on here showing a lot of more sex. Like you see a lot of more women twerking, men doing sexual things, but sexual activity is down across the board, according to the statistics.
Well, look, I do agree that there's probably less connectivity, and like we're more connected virtually, and like you said, there's less, but to the point that we keep reiterating, me and Van, there's less real life connection. And I don't mean like you physically being in the same space as somebody. I mean like an emotional, mental, like there's less of
Hmm.
that. It's just a lot of superficial shit. And
Right.
Like for
There's
example,
no feature in that.
Shorty just posted, right? Women are smarter now because they're not selling. See, I hate that shit, right? And let me tell you why I
why?
hate that shit with a passion.
Why you
Because
hate that?
people get a hold of statements on social media and then they just run with it without even really researching what it really means. You know what I'm saying? Like back in a couple years ago, it was know your worth. Everybody started screaming, "Oh, I know my worth! I know my worth!" But you don't really dive into what that really means. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
I
Knowing your worth is
do.
not knowing. Yeah, you do, but I'm saying most of us don't. So people be like, "I know my worth." Oh, I'm worth a BMW. That's not knowing your worth. You understand what I'm saying? Like
What
now
they
I'm
got to
talking
do with
about
women being
now people talk
smarter
No,
though?
about
Her
yo,
comment
I'm
was
not
women
selling.
are
This is what and
smarter.
then I see like what you mean by not selling? Not selling to women nowadays, according to social media, is like you have a list of 10 things you want in a man. He meets 9 of them because he don't meet 10. Oh, I'm not selling. That's not what the fuck not selling means.
And I don't think that's what she meant by
No,
being smarter either.
no,
no,
You
I'm
no.
not
kind of
saying
going
her.
off the right.
No, I'm not saying her. I'm
Okay,
just
all
saying
right,
that's what most
all right,
people do when they go with the I'm not selling. That's not what that means. You know what I'm saying?
okay.
I, I think that I get what you're saying, Wes, and I know that you know you kind of touched on this before, and how people will get catchphrases and
Yeah,
just
just
run them
run
into the
and
ground,
don't even know what the fuck it
and
means.
there's no real substance to what they're saying. But
That's all
I'm
I'm
not.
saying.
But speaking for myself, because as you know, I go to therapy, and yes, I talk about it a lot because like I was saying earlier, it has helped me to get a better perspective on myself and my the way I think and the way I act and why and how I can sort of adjust my thinking and approach to certain things so it's
Hmm.
more productive. So yes, it has allowed me to see certain situations that were not to my benefit, and rather than continue to operate, you know, the same way, looking for a different result, the definition of crazy, I'm like, you know
Right.
what? I'm going to choose something different and see if I get a different outcome. That doesn't mean
I'm
I don't
smarter.
still do the same things, some of the same things, but certain things I do, like as it pertains, you know, to dating and men, is like, nah, I'm not gonna just accept whatever you want to give. And it's because I feel like they're not desperate. They're not just desperate to say, well, I'm gonna be with somebody or anybody. And yeah, some women are as you described, right? That ain't me though. If I'm
Mm.
saying I know my worth or I don't want to settle for blah blah blah, is because I see that you're trying to do bare minimum shit and I'm not with
Right,
it.
but
No,
it's,
thank you.
I don't want you to get it confused. I'm not saying her. I'm just even men do the same shit. Now the new catchphrases, she gotta be my piece. Niggas don't even know what the fuck that means. They just grab a hold of a statement that every dude screaming she gotta be my piece. But he fucking in torment in his own self. He don't even got peace within. But he talking about she gotta be my piece. That's what I mean. Like people just grab certain shit when it comes on the internet and just run with it without even doing the work and understanding exactly what the fuck. It just sounds cool and they just run with this shit.
Yes, well, okay, before we go too off on a tangent too much, the main
Wes taking it to a
I
whole
brought
nother.
My
you,
bad, my
yeah,
bad.
It's a whole
no,
nother
no, no,
discussion,
no.
Wes.
No, I agree with some of what you're saying, but the main point again of tonight's show was to talk about why there are,
Oh yeah. Okay,
benefits to.
yeah, abstinence. Let's go back to that, right? What I was against, not against, but what I don't
Is you
understand
gonna
is
let me
people that.
finish? No,
Oh,
go
my
ahead.
fault. I can't hear you. Your shit, my connection is different from yours, so I can only hear when you stop and you go. So I don't know if you're talking or
No,
not.
no, no. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, share your thoughts on abstinence because I'm gonna wrap up in a
Oh
minute.
no, what I was talking about is like the people that go by the Bible says and don't have any form of sexual release at all is what I was trying to understand what that was about.
But so Van, yeah, you really missed a lot. So
I missed the whole show.
Yeah, Van. So I'm just gonna like give you the synopsis real quick. Van, and then I'm gonna wrap it. Like I said, I wanted to talk to somebody who is not like an incel, sitting in his basement who can't get women. I wanted to talk to, a man who, again, is attractive man, successful professionally, whatever, who's choosing not to do what, taking the beaten path, and say I'm choosing this because I want something different, right? I want something different for myself, and what led him to make that decision, how it's benefited him, and what he perceived were the cons. That was the premise of the discussion. So, but you missed the story, and you can catch up and watch it on
Oh,
YouTube when I post it
so,
there later.
so wait, you want he's so Van, you want to dudes that don't do anything at all, no sexual activities at all, no self pleasure, no nothing. You just
That's
cold
not.
turkey.
See, you
That's
gotta,
not.
you know what? You gotta
Yeah,
watch it
you.
on YouTube. We talked about
Yeah,
this
that's
because you
yeah,
think
yeah.
that
You.
abstinence is not. That's
No, no,
celibacy.
That's celibacy, Wes.
no.
Yeah.
I was just asking if he was one. I was just asking if he was one. That's
No,
all.
No, no,
right?
we're
But
talking about abstinence, not celibacy,
Okay,
right? So we
okay.
just
My
yeah,
fault. My
yeah,
fault.
yeah,
My
yeah,
bad.
yeah. So yeah, we're not talking about celibacy. Yeah.
Okay.
yes, that's what I'm
Stop
trying to
yelling
say. Like,
at me, Becky. Damn.
yeah, I'm gonna yell at you because we talked about all this stuff already. Catch up. Anyway,
Look, I go watch it
It's
on
all
YouTube.
good.
All right, fine. Good night.
All right, yeah.
yes.
I don't feel welcome
Catch
right
the
now.
playback, Wes.
I don't feel welcome. Good night.
All right, brother.
Bye. Thanks for joining. Enjoy your
Later.
vacation. Bye. Okay. Is
Wes
he
came
on
in
now?
hot, didn't he?
He did. Well, he always does. But I'm like, listen, I want you to, if you coming into the conversation, I want you to understand the context. So what you have to share is applicable to what we're discussing. Anyway, with that said, I appreciate you joining me this evening. Do you have any parting words before I sign off?
No, I just thank you for giving me this platform to share my story. I never thought that I'd be doing this publicly. So you can convince me that it would be a good presentation for face of abstinence, especially for black men and even for black women to see it too, for those very same reasons that you just mentioned to Wes, as far as not being someone who cannot get it, but if choosing not to, whatever reason, build a better relationship, deeper connection, break generational patterns, whatever the case may be. We can go down the list of why I decided not to do it, right? So I appreciate you giving me this platform. Hopefully, I was able to connect with someone. Maybe someone is thinking about it, someone who is on this journey and don't want to embrace it, or is having difficulties embracing it. You can hear my story, and hopefully, I was able to help you in some form or fashion. But thank you, Becky Brown Girl, for giving me this platform. The notorious BBG is what we said.
Well, I certainly appreciate you being willing to share. Like I said in the beginning, When I put the request out, when I wanted to get back into doing my shows again, and that was one of the topics, I was like, I feel like this would be an interesting topic to talk about, but I do have a lot of male followers, and I think that the
Yeah.
average man is like, abstinence? Why would you
Like, what's
actually
that?
like
Yeah.
purposefully choose to be abstinent? And then, you popped up with your story, and I was like, oh, that's so interesting. Like, would you be willing to share it? And here
Mhm.
you are. So thank you. I truly appreciate it, and hopefully you have given the folks something to think about. But once again, there is no judgment.
None at
Do
all.
you whatever
Do
floats your
you?
boat, right?
Do you? Right.
It's just a different perspective. That's it. Um,
Right.
so with that said, I appreciate you so much for joining me, and
Thank you.
continued success in your artistic endeavors.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I look
Same to
forward to
you,
seeing.
and same to you with your show. I
Oh,
want to
thank
see
you, thank
you
you,
continue having these wonderful topics for us to get on to discuss in our community. That's not the typical topics that we see on social media. So I applaud you for that.
thank you.
And whenever you need me back for anything else, let me know. I'll
I
come
will
back.
certainly have you back. So
Yeah.
thank you,
Yeah.
and good
Good
night
night,
to
guys.
you. So um. With that said, I appreciate y'all joining me again for my reintroduction of the Becky Brown Girl Show. I know it's been months and months, but I'm back on 2 feet again. So thank you, Explosive Five. And I appreciate y'all joining and hanging out. And I should be back next Wednesday. Not sure what I'm going to talk about then, but I will look forward to seeing you guys when I return. Peace, two fingers.